Welcome to Adventures Walking as One, where we will explore what it really looks like to walk in the same direction, on the same path as husband and wife.
We are Mark and Carol Schweiger of Walk as One Ministries, and we believe that marriage is the greatest adventure and one worth preparing for.
Well, I'm excited about our conversation today.
Yes, and it is?
Our marriage, our money.
Whoa, okay.
We're gonna get fired up.
We are.
Money fires up a lot of people.
We might fire up a lot of people.
Yes, and that's all right.
Yes.
If you get fired up about this, go ahead and put a comment in there and let us know how you really feel. So, money.
Yes.
The Bible mentions wealth, possessions, money over 2,300 times.
Wow.
That's a major topic in the Bible, money.
That's a lot.
Jesus speaks about it even. 15% of his teachings and 11 out of his 39 parables.
Yeah, that's a significant focus. Money is a key indicator of one's heart and money management, right? Matthew 6:21 says that for where the heart is, where your heart is, there your treasure is also. And boy, that keeps me in check. You know, it's like, okay, I want this thing, but what does my heart say really? Is that really something I should have?
Yes.
So, responsible money management in marriage involves merging your money.
There, now you did it.
I did it.
You got somebody fired up.
That means all your finances, all the transactions need to be transparent and shared. So, joint bank accounts, shared debt, everything. And it's really all the assets, no longer yours and mine, right? This is covenant now. We just talked about covenant in the last episode.
Yep.
And so it's no longer yours or it's no longer just mine, it's ours.
It's ours.
Right.
And that's because when you are married in covenant, it is a new union.
Yes.
And like you said, the Bible says one flesh, so everything should be one. All increase and loss belong to this union. It's not an individual thing.
Correct. So why don't couples merge their money? We hear a lot of excuses for this. And I call them excuses because, quite frankly, I don't understand how they even function when they don't merge it. But one instance would be if they're living together, or maybe they developed habits, if they chose to live together, that they split all the expenses. Here's the utilities. So you pay half, I pay half. This cost, you pay half, I pay half.
And sometimes not even half. It's like, well, you use more heat than I do, so you should pay a little bit more because that's only fair.
And we have seen that. And I'm like, how in the world do you do that? Yeah. Right? If your kid has diapers and they poop more, who's going to pay for the extra diapers? I mean, it's like, how do you do that?
Yep, exactly.
But, they probably didn't have good examples to follow. Maybe their parents, maybe their parents were divorced or whatever, or they just didn't manage money well. And that could be a contributing factor of why they wouldn't want to merge their finances.
I've read several people. The one specific one was a woman. She had saved $2 million. And her spouse, or not her spouse, they were getting married, so her fiance. Okay. Her fiance only had $200,000.
Only.
Because he was dumping all of his money that he was making. They're about 40 years old, I think.
Okay.
He's dumping all of his money into his business. And so she was like, I don't know about this merging money thing. And I could see that.
Right. Maybe somebody like a woman, single woman who was married and then has kids and had to struggle raising her kids on her own and providing for that and all the expenses and everything, and then they go into a relationship and it's like, I don't want to have to go through this again if this doesn't work out. And so they're afraid.
Yes, fear.
Yes.
Fear is in a lot of this.
It is.
I love, nobody tells me what to do with my money.
Oh.
I made it. I work for it. It's my money.
You're a controller.
Yes, exactly. I love control of my money. And I mean, a lot of people like control of their money because you get to do whatever you want.
That's true. And some people will do whatever they want without consulting the other person, right?
And then really, in my mind, you're not married. You're still single.
That's correct. maybe they don't want to deal with the headache of merging, doing all the banking and trying to figure everything out, budgeting, etc., and whatever that entails.
Yeah, or you don't have agreement on spending, giving. You may be a generous person. You want to help people, and the other person doesn't want to do that.
They're stingy.
Yeah. I'm going to buy a truck instead.
Well, and this case in point, merging money reveals that the relationship needs attention.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If they're afraid to merge their money. So in some of the things that we talked about just a little bit ago, it's a lack of trust, or there could be a fear as a base of that, right? I'm afraid if I merge our money, what's going to happen? What if they don't budget the way I do, correct?
Yeah, and that one just makes me twitch a little bit, I guess, because it's like, well, I'm married to you, but I don't trust you.
Yeah.
There's
We have
some
a problem,
major indicator.
Houston.
Yes, we have a problem.
Poor communication, and really that's probably a good bulk of it, is that they're not communicating well, expressing what their needs are and so forth, and understanding each other, and then really coming to terms with that, which we've talked a lot about that in previous podcasts.
Yes, and I can relate to not being able to communicate because I didn't have to talk about things like this before.
Right. What if you don't have common goals? I think we should put more money into savings, and maybe you want to spend more money on tools, right?
Or new cars.
Okay, fine. You want a Mopar. I know, one of these days.
A Hellcat. Hellcat would be all right.
I know. But, if you're one's a spender, one's a saver. We talked about, David Ramsey talks about free spirit and nerd.
Yes.
I'm the free spirit, and you're the nerd.
Yeah, well, don't call me a nerd.
You are a nerd.
I am a nerd.
You're the spreadsheet guy.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be on the spreadsheet, and I can't. I don't have any tolerance for that. But yet I know what comes in and out of the house financially, and I pay the bills and that kind of thing. But we seem to manage that okay. But yeah, there's the spender or the free spirit and the nerd.
Yeah, so there's differences, right? And all these differences cause you not to want to do something because you don't understand.
Right.
And again, we go back to communication.
Addictions is another issue. That's huge. It could be gambling. What if they have a gambling addiction, or they've got hidden accounts and they don't want you to know what they have in those accounts? Yep. That's a no-no. That's not covenant at all. Maybe they have spending habits like we were just kind of talking about, where they're out of control. They might be hoarders, and they just have no control of how much they spend. That's another issue. That's a mental health issue.
Yes.
But
it is an issue, and you need to identify what these are in your own life.
Right.
Even we talked to one lady that she had to have some money at the end of each week. Mm-hmm. Some people have to buy something to feel happy, and so she wanted some money just to spend each week, and she wanted to separate their finances because her husband they were closer to retirement, and he wanted to put everything they had into retirement.
He wanted to be completely saving everything.
Yeah, saving everything.
She felt
no freedom.
Yeah, choked.
Yeah.
Anyway, and of course, not understanding covenant can be a contributing factor too. It's not understanding what it means to be one or walking in agreement.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And you can go watch our last podcast.
Yeah.
Find out a little bit more about covenant and what that means.
And then we talked about selfishness. It's if you're selfish and you're not considering the other person, that's not very kind.
So let's look a little bit about some of the benefits. We've been talking about all this stuff.
The negative stuff.
Maybe go into maybe a little more happy.
Okay, let's get happy.
Yeah, I don't know about getting happy, but I was listening to David Ramsey, and he commented that there was interviews with millionaires, and the interviews revealed that couples became successful after merging their finances. And so they were millionaires, merged their finances, then they were successful, which is huge.
Right.
Because you always think that, it's not going to work out and they're not going to spend stuff. But you have common goals now.
Right.
It implies a total union. This not separation. In Matthew 19:6 says, "So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore therefore what God has joined together, let no one separate."
Right.
And so that's even us. We shouldn't separate it.
Shared responsibility in providing, so we work together to provide for our family and for our needs and our goals. And 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for his own household, he is denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." So it's our responsibility to provide.
Yes. We can talk about financial openness or transparency, really.
Right.
The Apostle Paul talks about this in 2 Corinthians. And it was interesting because they were taking up a collection to go to Jerusalem. And he wanted to make sure everything was above board. So nobody is criticizing them for taking money, stealing money.
Yeah.
And so everything had to be transparent, open for everybody looking at it. And that was in 2 Corinthians 8:21. He says, "For we are taking pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of man." Pain, yeah. Well, transparency is a little bit of pain because you have to reveal everything. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah. To merge our finances, we had to talk about our goals, our vision, where are we heading, budget, how much do we have, how much can we spend, and, just the whole thing we had to talk about. And I think in these discussions, it created more unity and closeness into our relationship.
Yes, and I particularly like them, going through these discussions because you're forced to actually sit down and have to talk about these things.
Right.
And just those discussions, it's almost like a date night thing. If you have a personality like mine.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I thrive on. And we've talked about transparency. It required us to be transparent.
It did.
I had to deal with communicating, and I think I've already mentioned that I needed to be able to share my thoughts.
Right.
So it's my responsibility for me to share my thoughts about money with you. Right. What are my goals? What am I thinking? Maybe I hadn't thought about it yet.
Yeah, for me, talking about it was fine, but our perspectives on our finances were so different. And that came with some challenges.
Quite a few, actually.
But we had to hang in there. As we said before, you had to stay in the room and work through it. And then
just being the free spirit and the nerd causes enough headaches.
It does.
I don't want to review spreadsheets. And so there's a number of things that we have to work out, or that we have to work through. And we stayed in the room and we did it.
We did it.
And there are guidelines. Maybe we should have another podcast about talking about all that stuff.
But it made us responsible managers of our money.
Yes.
And we enjoy the fruit of that.
Yes,
right?
And it's you're going at a common goal.
Yes.
Walking in the same direction on the same path. Hey, how about that?
Look at
that. But I feel more connected, when we do these things, and it's really cool that we have a plan. We know God wants us to do something, and He has a plan for us. And as we start walking that, we can kind of see that come to fruition. So it's kind of neat.
Right. And
well,
so together we are able to meet our goals.
Yes.
And we have met so many goals. It's been fun to look back and appreciate that.
Yes. So let's give a little more insight into just doing it. That's one of our favorite sayings.
Yeah.
Again, that's another podcast. Just do it. Merging after marriage. And it's really after marriage that you want to merge your money. And I really like David Ramsey. He's got a lot of sound financial advice, but he said build a plan and goals. Now that's something that I like. I love having the goals to shoot for. I don't think you can merge your finances without common goals.
Right.
Because I could be off spending something because I have my own goals and you have your goals, you're spending something.
Any road will do, but not really.
Yes. And so our values and our goals were pretty much driving all of our discussions. Family needs. We were homeschooling.
Right.
What did we need? Because you have to buy books now.
Right.
And you have to have areas to instruct the kids. We wanted a nice house. I think everybody wants a nice house.
Sure.
And we wanted to help people.
Yes.
We wanted to have extra money to be able to help people if that were challenged. Just write them a check.
Right.
And that was...
And support the church.
I don't know if they
right?
write them a check. We would have to Zelle them, right?
Yeah.
Nobody writes checks anymore.
Some of our steps, we merged our money. So we created joint accounts now. You had accounts, I had accounts. Together we made accounts, checking accounts, savings accounts, etc. We established clear goals in writing.
In writing.
So that meant a budget.
Yep.
And that was to meet those goals, like getting our house. We created a plan to get out of debt because when we got married, we were in debt. And we had student loans, and you had a car loan, and there were things that we had to pay off. And then we wanted again to have money to be generous. So we were able to do that.
Yeah, and as you're going through this process of eliminating debt and stuff, and I'm actually paying attention because I didn't before, I would just work more overtime and make more money. So I didn't care. But now I saw this interest rate because we're on the charge cards. And I really didn't pay that much attention. But now that we're trying to save, get out of debt, and have extra money, it's like, well, why am I paying these guys all this money and interest?
Yeah.
So we, at that point, says, okay, one credit card, we pay it off each month.
Right.
And pretty much we've done that for 40 years.
Right.
Successfully. And it's been fine.
Yeah.
We have a backup. We do have a backup credit card just in case.
We do. And actually, we earn points, so they pay us to use their credit card.
Yes.
Which I like.
I like that, yes. We had to ensure that we were taken care of in the event of death.
Right.
I remember it was like $1 million. We needed like $1 million in
for life
in
insurance.
Life insurance, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. That doesn't make any sense. And a friend of ours that was actually selling the insurance, he says, well, if you die, do you want Carol to keep homeschooling the kids? Yeah, of course. Where's she going to get the money to do that? She's going to have to go to work. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So you have to think about these things, and we purposed to do that.
We did. Thank you.
And
our kids, thank you.
and I think at this point we had kids, so there was a couple kids when we were starting. I think some of this stuff started before we had kids.
Yeah.
But I remember that at one point you quit working, stay-at-home mom, homeschooling the kids, and I was thinking about credit score, because you can't get credit.
Right.
I remember your dad. He had 2 houses, had nice cars, raised 8 children. I think this was a little bit later on in life, and so
he was retired. He wanted to buy his first
his
brand
first
new car.
To get a loan. He had never taken out a loan, no credit history. He paid everything cash, right? And he's done it successfully.
Yeah.
So he goes to the bank and they say, no,
you don't have any credit.
You don't have any credit. It's like, are you guys serious?
Such a problem.
Yeah, such a problem. All right, fine. I'll just pay it in cash. You guys get nothing.
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to make sure that you had a credit score, so we had to make sure that some of the things that we bought were in your name.
Right.
Even though we were paying them off.
It made me feel like I contributed.
Yeah.
But we had savings goals, and that's really important. We wanted to make sure we had 3 months savings to cover our bills for 3 months.
Yeah, more of a liquid thing if something bad happened.
Yeah, but we need to make sure that if something happened, we had 3 months to fall back on and not go into debt. And we also wanted to start contributing to retirement. So we started the 401k, whatever your job was availing us to.
Yes.
We kept a balance in our accounts to cover the bills, right? So you always had this amount of money in there. You don't go below that amount of money. But we also wanted to make sure we had extra for inevitable breakdowns, like maybe the stove stopped working and we have to replace the stove or the washing machine, heaven forbid, right?
Or the dishwasher,
Or the
which we just
dishwasher,
had
whatever,
go.
appliance. I mean, that's one example. And also, we wanted to make sure that we had a little extra, because what if an opportunity came up that it was a great opportunity, and boy, if we just had a little extra money.
The stock price will never be that low again.
But there was something my dad always said: make sure you have a little extra money in case an opportunity comes.
Yep.
And then we recorded every dollar we spent. I mean, first it was on a spreadsheet that was painful, your thing. But then we got Quicken, which helped. And for a long time, we were tracking. Every month, man, I was putting in every receipt, everything I had spent money on. And we knew exactly where all of our money was going.
Well, and I don't think we started that way, but we found out
No,
we
but
had to, because it's like, well, we've created this budget, but it's something doesn't seem to be working out, and we weren't tracking where we were spending our money.
Right.
The other thing is that I don't know. It seems like we're making this seem really easy that we did this stuff, but at the time, I remember it wasn't.
No.
It's like, well, we got house, cars, kids, all these expenses, medical expenses, braces. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
And how am I supposed to save?
Right.
I got to buy tools for working outside, and and then we have to save. My dad was like, "Mark, how much money are you putting away?" It's like, I don't have any money to put away.
But we paced ourselves.
Yeah,
We paced it.
a little bit at a time,
Over
and it does
time.
make a difference.
Right.
And so the good news, after all these years, we were mostly out of debt.
Yeah,
We had a house, we grew a family, and we helped many people.
we did.
And so now we're retired. We're living with gratitude that we managed our money well.
Right.
Because going into retirement, you don't know how that's going to look.
Right.
And so at this point, it turned out better
turned
than
out
we
really well.
expected. Yes, it turned out well. Because going through it, you're just not sure.
Right.
But little bit at a time, and you're consistent, and you just keep working at it.
And the Lord is really faithful.
Yes.
He honors that.
He did.
Yeah.
And so, merging your money, it seems risky.
Yes.
But hopefully we shared enough that people are realizing that there's some things you have to work through, but it's not necessarily risky.
Right.
Benefits lead to a stronger marriage through all these conversations, because we do have to work together. And it leaves a tremendous legacy that other people see. I mean, that's how we learned about a lot of this, through demonstration by our parents.
That's true. So if you're struggling with money issues, take small steps. You don't have to do it all at once. Just take small steps, build trust and confidence with each other. Merge one account. If you can't do it all, just merge one account and pay off one debt that might be tied to your goals, and just keep going. Take a look at David Ramsey's programs. He has got so much to offer that were very beneficial.
Yes, and we also have some podcasts you can listen to. One on trust, because you definitely need trust to be able to do this. We've mentioned communication already, our Let's Talk series, and then marriage vows and covenant. So you can listen to these. Hopefully they will be of some benefit to you. So, have you merged your finances with your spouse? And how has it worked out? Let us know.
We hope you've enjoyed our episode of Adventures Walking as One. Discover meaningful tips and simple ways to build a stronger, healthier marriage with Marriage Basics. Please subscribe and share this with a friend. Visit our website at walkasone.net.
Thank you for listening to a WBRW TV produced podcast in Washington Township, Michigan. Our podcast can be found on Spotify, and our video programming can be watched on WBRWTV.com or on our broadcast channels in Washington, Bruce, and Romeo on Comcast and AT&T. If you're interested in using our podcast space or have any ideas of your own for a podcast, reach out to us now at WBRWpodcast@gmail.com. For more information on our organization, our content, or how you can get involved, visit WBRWTV.com. The opinions, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect the views of the Charter Township of Washington, Michigan Community Media, or WBRW TV.